everybody. How you doing today? This is Brenda Sue from Bisu Boutiques. If you're new to us, I'll just tell you that we have over 450 instructional videos on our channel, so you might want to go back and have a look at it after you subscribe to our channel and like this video. Also, you might want to have a look at www.bisuboutiques.com. We are a very large internet supply for jewelry makers and mixed media artists. We've been on the internet since 1997. We have thousands of things. Maybe you've not heard of us, but we've been around. So you might want to come over and see, because we specialize in really unique, beautiful, interesting things that you might not see other places. Okay, so that having been said, we're going to talk today about designing a statement bracelet, and it's going to be a stretchy bracelet, which sometimes you might think, well, that's really a statement bracelet, a stretchy bracelet. Yes, there are so many ways that you can make them so cool and so interesting, and I'm going to show you how you can plan to put 3 stretchies together and really make it pop. So come on over here and I'll show you what I've got laid out to show you today. So here's a bit what I mean about making a statement bracelet. This is on stretch cord, all of it. If you go back to the last video that I personally did on Bisu Boutiques channel, we did stretchy bracelets. It was a live video. It was kind of long. This one is not live, so I'm going to try to get right to the point for you. But this is showy. This is very showy. And I have to tell you, I do sell my work like many of you do too. And I've sold quite a few of these since I started making. And I have to tell you too, I was so opposed to doing stretchy cord for the longest time. I just didn't like it. I didn't like the idea. I thought it would break and blah, 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 blah. And I have to tell you, I was wrong. It is so versatile. Same way as memory wire is very versatile. I thought, oh, I'm never going to do a memory wire video because everybody knows how to do that. Well, number one, no, they don't. And number two, making it the way I do is showy and it's different. So what I'm going to show you is a little bit different take maybe than you've seen for a stretchy bracelet before. Now this is in 3 parts. Let me just take this off to just kind of show you what we're going to do. This isn't the one we're going to do because it's already done, of course, but just to give you an idea. So there's 3 of them, and as you can see, they come off very easily. And I'm not sure if you can tell, or maybe you're not familiar with the material, but most of this is dyed buffalo bone, come from India. It's carved. Very beautiful stuff. It starts out stark white, white. And then I love to dye it with teas and Kool-Aid and just mixing stuff up to see what's going to happen. I have a group on Facebook, Bisu Boutiques Creative Group, and we've been doing that a lot. And oh, wow. Have we seen some interesting things? Last week, somebody used butterfly PT, if you haven't heard of that yet. It's butterfly PEA, like peas that grow in a garden. So you can get it on Amazon, I think. But anyway, that was really interesting too. I mean, so many things you could do with bone. It just sucks the color up, So I'm always getting more bones from my bone beads, excuse me, from my friend in India who supplies them to me. And oh my goodness, he just sends such beautiful ones. So I have mostly that on these bracelets. I also have the check rondelles, which I'm sure you know rondelles, you've seen them. These are really cool and different because they're Japan black metal. They're not the typical silver gold, and they have crystal AB in them to just make them pop. So like I say, I'm always looking for unique, cool, different things for bisuboutiques.com. So you'll see some of the usual there, but you'll see a lot of the stuff that isn't. And we even do have some stuff that you've never seen before that nobody else has. But anyway, getting back to the stretchy stacks. Let me put this aside. Okay. So I like to just kind of plan them out. And it can be a lot of, trial and error, put it on, take it off. It's so easy because you're working with a straight piece of cord. I use Stretch Magic, but there are other brands. And I always cut off a very generous long piece of it because it's very, very inexpensive. You get a lot for very little bit of money, and I'd rather have more to play with and find out at the end it's short and really be messing around and find out I have to take it all off and cut a new piece and do it again. So go along with it. And then I've done on this one, I think I've got over a foot. You don't really have to go like 1.5 feet like I did, but like I say, it's not expensive, so I do, just so that I don't have to worry about it at the end. But anyway, so I cut off a big, long, nice piece. And then I start planning my bracelet. Now, this is done already, so I'm going to put it back on my wrist. And now I have some things laid out. Okay, so a tool that I've recently discovered is this Beadsmith bracelet and anklet design board. Maybe you've seen them before. We do carry them at our website. And it's just, you don't have to have this. You know, you can just measure it and tie it off however, but I just like, there's so many features to it that makes designing a little bit easier for me. So I have all my stuff laid out for the 3 different stretchy stacks. I just have to remember which one was which. I think this is my first one. So let's just go ahead and go from there. And let's pull out what I have in here. And hopefully it doesn't roll around too much. I should have gotten a beading mat, but I didn't. So I'm just going to pull out the stuff that I put in the middle well. That's another thing I like. You can put the stuff in the middle of the well, which you can't see that right now because I moved the board so that we could do this. But yeah, it doesn't roll around like this. You know, now you can get those bead mats. We have them sometimes. They're kind of flocky material, you know, and you put everything out, which I should have brought one here because that would have been great, but I didn't. So we're going to deal with it. But anyway, so I've got it all laid out here. And what I had done is I had started with these disc beads. I kind of like that look like I did on this one. Let me take this off and show you. See, it's got these big disc beads. Those are bone. Okay, so this one has 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I think this one only had 4, which normally I wouldn't do 4. I would do like 1, 3, 5, like that, 7. But I did it this way, so let's just see if I can remember how I put them on there. Okay, so I'm going to start by putting 1 disc in the middle, and I always work from the middle out, okay? Always work from the middle out. Maybe kind of take the cord too and stretch it a little bit before you get going. I'm told that that helps it a little bit so that you don't have issues with it down the road. So anyway, so now I have this flat washer disc, which we have at the site, and I'm going to put it on next to the center bead. Okay. And I may not complete this whole thing right on camera because I don't want to take your whole day watching this, kind of like paint dry, but I'm going to show you the basics. Okay, so I've got a disc on either one of this disc. I've got a gold disc on either one of this one. Now I'm going to put one of these cool rondelles on here. A bigger one, because it's in the middle, you know, so we want it to show up a little bit better. And I'm going to go on the other end and do it too. Now, if you don't like doing it this way, you want to just do it in one straight line, then what you can do is lay it out on a beading board and then just go from there. I like doing it this way because I can kind of check on it as I go along and see what's happening. So now I'm going to put another one of these gold ones and another one on this end. And then I'm going to go with another disc. Now these discs, oh wait, I got 3. Okay, I need these 2. Okay, these discs are pretty close inside, and that's what you have to do. You have to go through your stuff and find out what you've got that's going to kind of balance. So these are close. They're not perfect, don't have to be, but pretty good. So I'm going to put this disc on here because I want to have several in the middle. And I might just eliminate this one I had pulled out and just go ahead and do the 3 because 3 is really a better balance in this case. Okay, which one did I do? No, it was this one, I think. That probably wouldn't have been better in the middle, but for the sake of time, I'm just going to go with this one and do this. It'll be all right. Remember, if you get it pulled together before you completely knot it off and then glue the bead at the end, because it's a good thing to do that, you can always slide it right off and start over. And you know, it doesn't take that long, so why not? You know, you've got that flexibility. When you put all those things on a memory wire bracelet, and I always like to go dramatic. I always like to go 4, 5, 6 coils, you know. Well, you get all this stuff on there, and then you look at it and you say, oh, this isn't working. I don't like this. Then it's kind of a pain because you got to get it all off the memory cord, and it wants to spiral around and give you a hard time, and sometimes you poke yourself with it and all that you're not going to have that with the stretchy cord. And you can still get the appearance of a wide coil bracelet, but you're doing 3 different bracelets. So, okay, so maybe you don't want to wear all of them. Maybe you want to wear 1 or 2 or whatever, combine it with other things. You can. That's the wonderful thing about it. You can. So I'm going to put this big one on here
which I may like or not, but we're going to see as we go along. Put this other one on this side. I do know that if I put all these beads on here, it's going to work because I already tried it. It's going to be long enough and not too short. In fact, it might be a little long, so we may even be able to eliminate a little bit of this stuff. We'll see. Now, when you're selecting things, not only do you want to select the larger things to put in the front of your bracelet so that it can be showy, like this one is, but you'll notice toward the back, I use a column bead, okay? I do this on all my stretchies, column bead, column bead. The reason why is the way I knot it. This really helps to hide the knot, and it makes it very, very secure. And also, you don't have a big bumpy bead rolling across the back of your wrist. Because, as I mentioned before, a lot of people have fibromyalgia and they can't stand something moving around on here. Well, this is nice and smooth, so it doesn't bother you. I have fibromyalgia. This does not bother me. So this is a good design for just everybody, for whatever reason, but especially for that. Okay, so you want to choose your focal stuff for the front and then get a column bead for the back, if possible. Okay, so now I'm going to put this on because I'm starting to graduate. Okay, you might see that. I'm starting to graduate down a little bit in size. So I've got these two. And if they're a little bit pitted and stuff like that, personally, that does not bother me one bit because they're organic material. And you can't expect perfection. I love using shell and bone and things like that. You know, stones. Things that are natural products of the earth. I also like bling and all kinds of other things too, but for these bracelets, you know, I really, really love the bone look. So see, I've got all these little washers going, and that's going to be a good focal, I think. I think this is going to be a great focal, in fact. Okay, so I'm just going to keep going. I've got these nice, these are stone beads. I think they're that turquoise with resin put together, melon beads, whatever. They're certainly not glass. They feel a little cold. They are stone beads. They're not anything of any high value, though. But, you know, you could put things of high value on your stack if you want. I mean, there's no reason why you can't, but you don't. And the thing is, you know, you can look for all kinds of unique things, stuff that people might never think of to make your bracelet from and make it unique and different. It doesn't just have to be a bunch of 6mm check drucks on a cord, which that's fine too, especially if you're making a stack. You might want some plain ones in there too. But, you know, we can do a little better than that. Okay, I have these little trumpet beads here, and I just decided I think I'm going to put these on because they'll be stabilizing. So I'm going to go ahead and do that, and I think I'll have room for it, or I can take a few things on, and I'll be able to check on the end. And that's another thing that's cool about this is because you can kind of, if you have things laid out on your beadboard like I do, like it has the little wells. Here, I'll just bring it back for me to see. I had all kinds of stuff on there that can work. So I might change my mind, and I can try something different. So anyway, going back. So I've got this much of it. So I've got, you know, most of it on now. So I'm going to put this big on here now. And this one. Stone beads. I like the colors, how they blend. I'm always looking to blend colors. I love to blend colors. Okay, so I'm going to use this one. It's one that I dyed this color, this khaki green, using Kool-Aid. I used about 4 different colors of Kool-Aid, and I came up with this at the end. And you know, I should have written it down because I don't know how I did it. And I'd love to do it again. Okay, so I think I need this one. I might have a few too many here. That's okay, because we'll work with it. Okay, so let me take these off and see where I'm at. Now, you might have noticed, too, on the bracelet board, it gives you wells different size. You got 9, you got 8.5, you got 5.5, you got 7, 6, 6.5, 8 inches, and 7.5. I usually go by 7.5. So just to get me an idea if I'm in ballpark where I want it, and that's for like a medium-sized wrist, 7 or 7.5. I like 7.5 because I can get a better idea. You know, I don't have it, you know, sticking on me like it's working out good. I don't have to worry about it. Okay, so what I see here is I want this off, I want this off. This is not quite long enough. But even if I get it to be like 7 1/4, it will be, it's fine. So I'll put this here. And what you do is when you use a large hole bead next to these, you, oh, am I running out of that? Do I not have another one? Maybe it's under here. Let's look. Nope, it's not. Okay, well, we're not going to do that. We're going to do something else, which we can, because I've got all kinds of stuff here just in case, right? Okay. Yeah, those ring beads are on my site. Those big ones. I like them, but I should have gotten a few more out of my stash because that's not going to be long enough. Rats. Okay, so let's keep going. I said I wasn't going to finish it, but I think I do need to finish the first one because you need to see how I do the cord, the knot again. So I'm going to put this here and here. I'm getting close. I need a few more. You know, if I put too many, then it makes an issue for me that I don't want to deal with. So we just won't deal with it then. But I'm getting to about the place where I'm going to apply the column bead now. So I think I'll put a couple more of these. And I'm going to use a green column bead toward the back. I think it's not going to quite hit the 7.5, but I have so much dimension in some of the beads, it really is. It just doesn't look like it. It will be fine. But we will find out. Okay, so now here's my column bead. This is a column bead. Okay, so I'm going to stick that on there. And now I'm going to test. So the way I test is I take and I do a loose knot. I'm not going to tie it tight because I want to be able to get it apart. But I want it to be enough so that I can kind of slide this on and see where I'm at. Okay, this is good. This is good. Till I pull this up, it'll be good. So I like it. Me likey. You'll see a little bit of space left on there yet, but that's okay. It's okay. Okay, now I want to get it off before it all falls off. That's another reason why I like a big long piece. I don't have to worry about that. I don't have to worry about anything coming off. So here's how I tie it off. Okay, you can see I have it. Here, let's pull this out of the way so you can see it on the white. Thank you, Javi. Javi's over here helping me out. Okay, so I'm going to tie this off like that. It had come through. I'm going to tie it again. Oh, just overhand knots, okay? Nothing fancy, just overhand knots. And then I'm going to go through on the other side, and I'm going to pull it up and tie it. And then I'm going to pull it through again and tie it. As I don't want my knots to break, so I found this way of doing it that seems to work pretty good. And I'm stretching as I go along. That's pretty good. You could do it a little bit more even, but I'm not going to. Don't need to. Okay, so now I'm going to pull this out, and I'm going to feed this piece back through. So I have to pull it out a little bit on the other side too, so I can see. Here it is when it comes out. Oops, come on, don't fight me. It came right through. There we go. And just pull through. Okay? And I'm going to do that with this piece as well. I'm going to pull it through. Just pull it through all the way. Okay, there it is. Very easy. All right, now I'm going to tie it again. And I'm just going to take it, and I'm going to go around the cord that was existing there that I put through. I'm going to tie it one time, and then I'm going to go through, and I'm going to tie it again. And I'm going to do it again. And I'm going to do it again. Okay, so now, what do? I've got this big long tail sticking off of here. That's no good. Okay, I'm stretching it a little bit. Helps me out too, just kind of see. That's on. Okay. Pull that out, now I put it on. Yeah, there's maybe a little bit of space there. I could maybe put a little bit more, but I like it. I think it's going to be fine. I'll check it over when I'm done. But, you know, you'll be the judge of that. I don't really need to show you all that here. You'll be the judge of it's long enough or not. What you need to do is figure out how you want to design it, how you want it to look. Yeah, this is maybe a little short. And then get to the place where you can tie it off. Now, before I cut this off and glue it, I will glue it first with a little bit of hypotube cement. And then I'll cut this off really tight to it. And you'll see that the cord just kind of shrinks up and goes inside the holes and you won't see it. Okay, before I do that, since for me, this might be a little bit short, I maybe did need those extra beads in there. I'm not going to tie it off too tight just yet so I can go back and I can open it up and make it a little bit bigger. But if you're making it for somebody with a little bit smaller wrists, then it would be fine. My wrists are not tiny, as you can tell. They're not, you know, what I call large wrists, but it's maybe medium large. So this could have had a little bit more on it. Okay, I'm going to stop the camera for a minute and put the other two together real quick so you don't have to just stand there and watch me, and then I'll explain to you.
You can do it!
At the end, okay? Because it's about the design element now. You've got the basic thing down, how that you construct it. But now, how am I going to make the next bead so it looks right against these pieces? And the piece after that, how am I going to make it so it looks right against those pieces? Well, you know, I could even show you in this. Okay, the next one, I used these round beads, and they work out pretty good on there. Okay, and then the last one, I used a column bead in the middle, and that works out pretty good. So anyway, I'm going to go ahead and make my other two I'd planned to put with this stack, and I'll get back on then after I'm done, and I'll explain to you what I've done completely. So you can kind of get a feel for designing them and making them really look like a standout piece of jewelry instead of just maybe a little something you might wear around your wrist. Okay, I'll be right back. Okay, so I have the second stack that I made for this video on my arm, and I have the original one on too. So talk about a statement, right? And you want to know, this is really not uncomfortable. I would think this would drive me nuts, but it is not uncomfortable. And I think it has a lot to do with the column bead being in the back. I really do. And I don't make them too tight. But anyway, let me take this first one off because that's the one that's in the picture for this video. But it's one I made, you know, a little while back. And it's mine. I'm keeping it. I'm not selling it. So I still had it because a lot of my other ones I don't. I have a few on my website, but most of them are gone. So, okay, so that's gone. So here we are. This is the one that I made while we were together today. This is the first one we put together, and then I did discover, yeah, Brenda, you screwed up. You should have put them last two beads on. I didn't, so I had to take it apart and redo it. And then this is the second one I did, and this is the third. So let me just take them off and just show you. Okay, I put another little piece back in here on this one, so it was big enough. Really needed to be 7.5 to fit me. Somebody else, you have a small wrist, might only need to be 6.5. Might not even need to be that. Or you might just want to do a straight 7. For me, 7.5 is good. It gives me a little room. You can see, you know, it's not tight on, I don't like tight. Sometimes I'll even do them a little longer so that they'll kind of drape down and I can put even other stuff in there. But anyway, so that's the first one I did. This is the second one I put together while I was off camera. I had the stuff chosen, but I put it on while I was off camera because I just didn't want to, you know, waste a lot of time having you watch me do it because there was just no reason for it. I can explain to you what I've done. Okay, so what I did is I put a big column bead in the middle and a smaller one in the back. Okay, so this basically just goes to choosing, you know, what you want to do. I have melon beads along the side here, and they don't have to be perfectly all the same. You're not going to get that with stone, shell, bone beads, any of that. It's not going to happen. So you just get as close as you can. And I used the golden spacers and a little bit of that black Japan with the AB in the front, so it goes along with this. So this one goes in the middle. And why is that? It's because you have all this lumpy bumpy on this one on the front. So when you put this one in the middle, it kind of compensates a little bit. Looks good, but it's not fighting with the other one. Okay, here's the last one that I made. And you'll see I have these big long strings here, and that's because I have to still open this up a little bit and put a little dot of hypotube cement or the jewelry super glue if you're brave and not thinking you'll get it stuck to yourself. Just a dot over that. Then I let it sit and I let it dry overnight. Then I cut my ends off really close up. I mean, super close up, because I don't want to see pieces sticking out at the end. It doesn't look good, not at all. So anyway, this one, the way I planned, I just put one big bead in the middle, and then I graduated out smaller from there, kept a little bit chunkier toward the back, And then I did my column beads. So here's what it looks like all together. And it doesn't fight. It doesn't fight. You've got the lumpy chunky at the bottom and the big column, and then you've got the big bead in the middle. So that's what you have to look for when you make these in stacks, whether you're going to do 3s or 5s or whatever. You have to make it so the one stack doesn't fight with the other. It's the same way with memory wire. There's a pattern to these. I patterned them the best I could with organic materials. When I do memory wire, I don't tend to pattern them. And if you go back and see my memory wire videos, you'll see I tell you that I don't pattern them. And you can, but I don't personally. I'm more for balance, making sure that one layer does not fight with the next one, okay? So these don't either, and that's the main thing. When you're doing something that goes like one over, and it's all there on your wrist all at one time, you can't have it fighting with each other. Same way as if you have things in your jewelry armoire or dresser drawer or whatever that you want to stack and layer. I mean, why wear one bracelet when you can wear 5, right? Or 3 at least. You don't want stuff that fights, because then it's miserable to wear. Okay, so you'll see. I'm just going to put this on. This is the last one I made. This is the one in the middle. And you could, you know, do this the other way, wear it the other way if you want, but I just felt that this was the best way not to fight. See, that doesn't fight. It just kind of layers right on there. It doesn't fight. And then this last one is a little bit lumpier and bumpier. It doesn't fit up exactly, but you want some texture. You want some dimension in there. So it's all very excellent. And then you've got in the back, you've got your column beads to help. It gives it a little bit of vibe. It makes a place for you to go through and tie double, which is an excellent design trick. And also, it doesn't annoy your wrist. So that's a really good way to design. So that's how I approach doing a designer style statement stretchy stack that you would find like in a boutique shop, not something you're going to find in Claire's boutique in the mall, right? You're going to find it in a boutique, and it'll be a little bit spendy probably there, but then that way, if you have a clientele that will spend a little bit more for something unique, you can go ahead and spend a little bit more for parts. But the only thing really on here that costs anything at all are those rhinestone rondelles, and you wouldn't have to put that many. You could put just a few for a little bit of blingy accent, or not at all. The rest of it is not expensive. This type of composite resin plus resin plus shavings from gemstone, because that's all that is, and then they mold it. So they call it gemstone, but it's really not. It's just resin and a couple little shavings from left over from making them. But there's that in there, and there's the bone beads, which are not expensive. You have just a little time into dyeing them, and it's so much fun. Who even cares? These kind of beads right here are dirt cheap. These little golden rondelles. So the only thing that costs anything are the rhinestone rondelles. And like I say, you don't have to use that many of them. I really used a lot because this is for my personal stash, and I'm a hog for them. What can I say? I love them, and I just like give them all. I usually put a few on the website though, in case you want them. They're there, I think. Anyway, okay. I hope this has had a little bit of impact on you to help you see what is possible with stretchies and how to make them not one layer conflict with the other, and get them all to fit up nice so that they're comfortable to wear. So I hope you'll try it. If you like these components, we have them. We have all of these and a whole lot more at Beads Boutiques. We have rhinestone beads, we have check glass beads, we have vintage beads, we have bone beads, we have shell beads, we have gemstone beads, we have mosaic beads. Goodness, I can't remember what else, Javi. We have a lot, like thousands of beads. We have them. Vintage plastic, which are super cool. We just have so much. We have bead mixes also. So, you know, if you like beads, we have a lot of them. Okay, besides we have brass stampings, we have tools, we have chain, we have 1928 pewter parts, which we're the only ones who have them anywhere. We're the only ones that have them. So if you like 1928 Jewelry Company, you can buy the parts that they used to make their jewelry for 54 years, and we have them on our website. Woohoo, how cool is that? So anyway, just come on over and see what we have. We have so many design elements you'll love. www.bisouboutiques.com. Thanks so much for watching my video. Thank you for liking my video. Thank you for subscribing to my channel. There are so many back there for you to look at, all free classes, all of it. And then going forward, there'll be just that many more. So thanks bunches and have a great day, guys. Bye.
Bye.